So I hate to talk politics. We hate talking politics on the show, but guys, the headline that I read this week, it made me sick. All right, this guy, presidential candidate, Democratic presidential candidate, Pete Buttigieg, is the only LGBT friendly. He's a gay. He's the only openly gay.
Openly gay. Yeah.
He's the only openly gay presidential candidate. I don't think he's the first, but I think he's the first seriously taken front runner. Like this guy could, he's neck and neck there with Warren and Sanders, right? But as of late, being gay has actually worked against him in a way that you wouldn't expect, right? You would think all the Republicans and super right-wing people would be all
over that, right?
About being gay, but we've heard nothing from that side of the house. In fact, it seems like the LGBT community is now turning against him. And this made me sick. I don't represent the LGBT community. I'm not gay. I do have gay friends and family, but I just feel like, what the hell? WTF LGBTQ? You've got a serious candidate, which is more than what some other cultures can say, right? Yang's not a serious candidate. There's no serious Latino candidate. We haven't had a serious black candidate since Obama. So you guys get a legit candidate that represents your community and you're not happy. And from what I'm seeing, reading most of these stories, is because he's not gay enough. He's not queer enough.
That's the headline right there, that Pete Buttigieg isn't gay enough for some of them. Like, we talked about before we started recording about the word queer, right? Like, you said that you didn't know there was a difference. And I think that in this instinct, there is now, right? Queer means, I'm just explaining how I explain it to me, right? Just more outwardly, right? A little bit more like, I don't even know how to say that. Pizzazz. So basically, they want him to be queer. And they're fighting that gay people don't necessarily have to be queer. Right?
Yeah, that's my thing is, like, I guess there's this assertion, and correct me if I'm wrong in understanding this, but it seems to me like there's this assertion that if you aren't queer, then you aren't proud to be gay.
Right. If you don't look queer, gay, you're not gay. That's what they're saying, that they look too hetero. Like, people are arguing that they look too normal.
Yeah.
It just goes with the generation, man. It's just never good enough. Let me tell you something. When I was growing up and my mom made chicken for dinner, I said, well, I don't want chicken. Guess what? I didn't eat that night. So it's just one or the other. You're really going to sit here and say it's not gay enough? Like, what are you taught? All right, and then that's where they go, okay, well, guess what? Then we're just not going to do it at all. How's that? We don't. It's sad, bro. It's never good enough.
A lot of people are saying, I'm reading some of the quotes from some of the caucus here, and it's saying, they say, I can't support somebody just because we're both gay. He doesn't meet his middle of the road message, doesn't meet the margins of the LGBTQ. One person says, queer people are pushed to the margins. I want someone that has suffered in ways that are very pronounced and will inform their policies.
Right. Oh, okay. So there you go. So Pete Buttigieg, I know, because I follow a little bit.
He only came out recently,
grow up hurting. Yeah, he only came out recently. He didn't grow up necessarily hurting. He was, I'll say a little bit privileged, right? So he never had to endure, all those negative things that LGBT communities. And I think that's what the gay community, are saying, that it's not really representative of the community. Which is a very interesting thought, but let me give you the irony. Isn't this homophobic? Like telling someone that they're not gay enough? Isn't that like homophobic? Like a gay?
Well,
what they're fighting against stuff, right? Isn't that what they're fighting against stuff?
That kind of changes it for me. I didn't know that last part. So hearing that now and having to take a way too big of a hit off that pen that was mostly metal because it's empty, I'm thinking now that I kind of get what they're saying. But to your point, JB, it's like you can't pick and choose, though. Like, the guy is gay.
Does Obama did Obama have to be from the slums of Chicago to become president? Donald Trump didn't grow up in a trailer park. You know what I mean? Just because the guy hasn't been bullied or doesn't go to gay days at Disney doesn't make him a bad person. There's a organization out there called Queers Against Pete. Okay, so these guys got over 4,000 signatures going against this guy just because he's. Here's one reason. they don't agree with his that he's not fully on Medicare for all. So because he weighs conservative on certain issues, so politics doesn't need to, or your sexuality doesn't need to identify with how you feel about certain issues. I mean, the guy doesn't feel that Medicare for all is a good idea. Or maybe he doesn't support it entirely. Because of that, I mean, I get if you want to say, look, I don't agree with his politics. But to then sit there and rally all the LGBTQ and tell everybody that because I don't agree with one or two of his policies, he's not the guy for us. I'm saying, what happened when Obama? What happened when Obama ran? What happened when Obama ran for presidency? Black people didn't give a damn about his policies. They got him elected.
Right.
And you know what? It turned out okay. I'm wary of people voting like that, but just where's the support? My goodness.
Well, I think you're actually making the point for the other side because of his policy. Let's talk about it's the presidency, right? So the president's not supposed to be just because he happens to be gay. He's not the president just for the gays, right? Do you understand?
Sure. And that's my point. That's my point is he's not just your president. You know what I mean? Just because he's gay, or he's part of the LGBT community, and that means you have a representative of your interests in the White House. That's a huge deal. You can't expect that guy to. But what I'm saying is, you can't expect that guy to side with you on every single issue, and then just throw him in the dirt because he doesn't.
I think what the fight is here is that you said it. He doesn't support Medicare. I'm looking here. He doesn't support for the student loan situation and other issues. Very the stuff that Sanders is a lot popular for. Okay, what I'm saying is that they're saying that being gay is not enough to get the support from the LGBT communities. I'm sure that the people that are saying that he's queer aren't really the people who are into the politics. By the way, I think queer is a stereotype. By the way. It's ironic that they're using that word that he's not queer enough. So I'm dismissing all that conversation. Bringing it back to the LGBT, they want a president who not only represents them, but also supports the things that they care about. That's what they're saying. It's not enough to be gay to get the support of the LGBT. And I think that's what's important.
We're still in this ugly in-between stage where the people that are in charge are still from the generation of anti-gay, and the people that are about to be in charge are totally cool with it. So I feel like people also need to realize that you still just kind of time isn't on our side yet. You got to play the waiting game, and timing is everything. And again, it's just, I understand that they want to be represented because this country does a horrible job of misrepresenting them. Or rather, I should say, a good job of misrepresenting them, I should say, because let's face it, being gay and that whole community is still kind of shunned in this country.
Sure.
But it doesn't make sense, man. There are so many other things that the president needs to do besides representing that.
They're calling him
so important.
They're calling him an assimilationist gay. He's just assimilating to it because it's the cool thing. That's so messed up.
Well, basically, you come out now that it's popular, now that it's okay. You're coming out, and now that it's trendy, you're only coming out because it's convenient to you. Some people are mad because he sides with Chick-fil-A because he was diplomatic with Chick-fil-A about their anti-gay policy.
Oh man!
He reminds me. He's gay Obama. Obama went into, and I know I keep referencing back to Obama, but here's what happens. Here's what I think about. You can't just go in to the White House and then say, "Oh, I'm changing the world for the betterment of blacks or for the betterment of gays." Right? Obama didn't come in and say, "Oh, screw everybody that has stood against blacks. Now we're getting our reparations. Everybody's getting 40 acres and a mule." No, he went in there and he was very political. He acted like America's president, not black people's president. And so this guy sits here, one of the biggest corporations in America, like Chick-fil-A, said, instead of saying, "Oh, screw Chick-fil-A, screw those guys, let's all gays unite against the chicken company." He says, "Look, I like their chicken. I'm not sure how I feel about their thing against gays, but I would like to build a bridge with them." So he's being political, and I don't want to get hung up on the Chick-fil-A thing, but
he's being honest.
It seems to me like he's being diplomatic about most. About
he's trying to become the president of the United States, and because he just happens to be gay, and he had the what am I trying to say? The courage to finally come out. Oh, and now he's not gay enough, bro. If you're a presidential candidate, they're going to dig into you as much as they can, even your own people. That's what's happening right now. The Democrats are fighting Democrats, bro. We should be fighting Trump, and we're fighting each other.
If your own party is giving you shit on March 1st, it's not looking good.
Yeah,
So.
it's not looking good for Peter. But it's not because he's gay. At least I think for me, it's not because of that.
It's because people are too flip floppy. What did they say in Sunny in Philadelphia? That's where he's like, that's what Democrats do. You flip flop.
But no, I think that might be a good point. C Money. When it all comes down to it, I believe that whether you want them on your side or not, the LGBTQ community wants him to make a stance, one way or the other. I guess he does seem. He's being diplomatic. I'm kind of like that. I'm all about balance, but I understand people's want or desire to get somebody who is, one way or the other. So, look, I'm not getting down on the LGBT community for getting at him. I just feel like, damn, this guy is, he's a representative, and why not embrace him? But
I'm gonna get down on them a little bit because it is a little bit more. I mean, what's the end goal here? To beat the disgusting Trump. I mean, it's to beat him,
true
right?
too, right?
So don't get mad at him because he's trying to please everybody, especially him being gay. He has a harder road to pleasing everybody just because he's gay, and he's not afraid to say it.
It's crazy though. Everybody just kind of bullies each other, and like you were saying, they're on the same side. You have Democrats and Republicans going after each other rather than the people that they need to beat that are in current office. And again, it's just because we're in this generation of hate and
we've been programmed to be in
and
competition with one another, dude. When you are in a minority, your whole life, blacks, Latinos, gays, your whole life from a young age, there's not enough resources, so you are raised in competition.
Step over everybody.
Yeah, and that's why some of these people in this community, sometimes women, sometimes gay, sometimes blacks, they can be very catty, so can be very competitive with one another. Mm-hmm. Why you think you can't just have more than one female megastar? Why do they always got to be competing with each other? Why does Cardi B and Nicki Minaj got to beef? You know what I mean? Why do they always pitting one against another? That's my problem, is the gay community is coming out and saying, oh, you're not gay enough. Why nitpick? Embrace the guy. Let's get Trump the hell out of here and then work on the stuff. Come on. By the way, I'm not for Pete Buttigieg. I'm going for Bernie, but I'm just saying.
Feel the burn. Let's get high.
Sanders Warren 2020, baby.